Hello, everyone, and welcome to our webinar today regarding our new QuickBooks integration with Alcove. We're so excited to have you here, and if you're watching this later, happy to answer any questions with you one-on-one as well if you weren't able to actually join today. But for those of you here, we're super excited to have you here and excited to tell you more about our new integration. So a couple of major benefits to having this live on your Alcove account. Obviously, keeping your accounting in sync. So being able to work with your bookkeeper, send copies of all of your estimates and invoices, and keep all of your bookkeeping clean and all of your tracking of things like income and taxes, etc. We have done a one-way sync. So this is giving you the control and ability to push over estimates. Right now, estimates, invoices, and invoice payments whenever you feel like it's the right time. So this will help you to control the process and avoid issues and incorrect information when things are syncing automatically in the background. We know from experience that can cause a lot of problems sometimes. Right now, we are supporting the sync of estimates, invoices, and invoice payments. But coming soon, we're also going to add the ability to push over purchase orders and create bills in your QuickBooks account, as well as track those vendor payments. So stay tuned. Those are coming soon. We just did a bunch of big updates to our orders page, which I know many of you guys have commented on and love. And so now we're going to layer on as well that ability to create those other documents in your QuickBooks account from Alcove. So super excited about all of these new changes. We also wanted to highlight that we are more than happy to work with you one-on-one to make sure that your setup is correct and that you get everything working well. So if you do want to book one of those calls, I know Sophia is going to put the link here in the chat, so you can just click to find a time that works for you. But you can also always come to your Alcove account on the resources page and click schedule here to get to our calendar and get to the schedule and find something convenient. So highly recommend. We are offering that one-to-one setup, but at any point in time, if you do need help getting onboarded, getting new projects in, if you have questions, feel free to schedule a time with us, or as many of you also know well, you can always send us a chat here, and we are online every day during the week to help you with any of those questions or any feedback that you may have. So just feel free to book that. Highly recommend it. We would love to hop on the phone with you and talk more about also how you're loving Alcove and anything we can do to improve. Awesome. So we have a few notes. I'm going to go through these kind of as we get set up, and I show you how this connection works. But there are a few things that will need to be set up in QuickBooks in order for this integration to work properly for you. And so I'll point those out as we go. One really important note that I just wanted to kind of bring up is that once you do get this set up and you start pushing your documents over to QuickBooks, it's very important that you make all of your updates to your estimates, invoices, and invoice payments in Alcove. So make sure you're adding those and changing those in Alcove first, and then pushing over to QuickBooks afterwards. If you do make some updates in QuickBooks, we will know that, and we'll ask you if you want to override those updates, but it will break the initial sync of the document. So just as a reminder, as you're kind of thinking about this, just make sure once you have it set up, you're coming to Alcove first whenever you do get that check from the customer, or you need to add a product to an estimate. Make sure you're doing that there. The other thing that you're going to want to do, we know that QuickBooks has the automated tax settings now. And so when you create an invoice in QuickBooks, they will automatically calculate your taxes for you, which is great. And it's a great feature. And so we just need to make sure, and I'll show you how to do this, but in your Alcove account and your projects, make sure each project has the appropriate taxes. We have a neat feature where we're actually pulling in those tax rates from QuickBooks, so you can choose from those. So it makes it really simple, but I do recommend kind of double checking on each project to make sure that you have set up the correct tax rates in Alcove so that your taxes will match both in QuickBooks and in Alcove. And just as a nice note, we will make a copy of every product and service that you add via an estimate or invoice into QuickBooks from Alcove. We'll make a copy in the product and services library in QuickBooks. So you may never use those, but your accountants may enjoy the fact that all of the detail is there. So you can let them know. Awesome. Feel free as we're going to post questions in the chat. We can answer those as we go, or at the end, I'll take some time to kind of take questions and highlight anything else you want to dive into. So we're going to get started. So to set up your initial sync, you're going to want to go to your account here in the top right and choose account from the drop down. And then we have this new tab called Connected Accounts, where you're going to see all of your integrations. Just as a highlight, you'll see we have the client payments coming up. So this is a new feature that's going to be released very soon. We actually have a webinar next week for this one. So please sign up for that as well. Would love to talk to you guys about this new feature as we get that running. But for the QuickBooks integration, if you haven't authorized yet, you're going to see this button will say Authorize. When you click that, it will take you to QuickBooks where you can log into your QuickBooks account. And then it's going to kick you back into Alcove to this settings page. So here you'll see we have a couple links at the top where you can view articles or a 2-minute video. We have a nice Help Center section here with lots of articles, lots of videos. So if you are having questions as you're going and you want to understand how you do the mapping correctly, obviously, please reach out to us. We're happy to help. But hopefully these resources will also help you to get that done quickly. We also then, your next step is going to be setting up your accounts. And so you'll see that these will be blank. You'll have a little warning here when you first sync your account. Very important, this has to be done for you to be able to send your first estimates and invoices over to QuickBooks. So you'll choose your default deposit account from the drop-down list, as well as your default income from products, service fees, and shipping. So these are coming directly from your QuickBooks account. So I mentioned earlier that you're going to need to do a few things over in QuickBooks before you can pull them into Alcove. This is all from your chart of accounts. So if you have questions about this, you can reach out to your bookkeeper, or if you need help, just let us know. We can direct you to the right information on the QuickBooks side. But you can set up new accounts if you like to cover specific scenarios, but that's really up to you and your bookkeeper. So recommend kind of talking to them about that setup, but that is where this information is coming from. So you'll see your accounts here listed as you click on the drop downs. And then when you are good with those, you click Save, and that will save your default accounts. So just as a note, we have an option here if you want to get into a more detailed reporting on QuickBooks. Like I said, this is up to you and your accountant, but we allow you to map each product type in Alcove to a specific income account. If you do not map these, it will just go to this default account. So this is completely optional and totally up to you whether you want to go to that level of reporting on your QuickBooks side. But this option is there for you to choose. And if you do ever want to remove one of those associations, just click the X and it'll take it back to the default account. Awesome. So that's the first requirement that we have here. The second is your project mapping. So some of you guys may have the ability to create projects on QuickBooks underneath a customer. But if you don't, then you must create at least a customer in QuickBooks in order to make this work. So highly recommend, we've got some links to the articles here where it'll tell you about where you can go in QuickBooks to find out how to create those customers and projects. But once you do create those, you will see them here in a drop-down list from your QuickBooks account. So what you want to do is find the matching customer or project for each of your Alcove projects, and then put that in this field here. Same as before, if you do want to change that, you can either click on the drop down or you can X out of your selection. So those are the main requirements that you need to do in order to start pushing your items into QuickBooks. So if you do have any questions or you want help with this setup, please reach out to us. More than happy to help. Right. So once you've got that synced, you can go over to your project in Alcove, excuse me. And so one thing I mentioned earlier was around the taxes. So some of you may know already, but if you don't, if you want to edit your taxes for your project, you can do that in your edit project sidebar here. And then you choose from the taxes dropdown. So once you do connect QuickBooks, you're going to see something a little bit different than before. Before, you're going to see the rates that you've added manually in Alcove, and you can choose from those. But now you're going to see a drop down here for QuickBooks taxes. So this is pulling from QuickBooks those taxes that it's kind of auto-generating based on its own calculations of the actual delivery address of the project. And so you can, I would recommend double checking in QuickBooks to see what taxes they're applying and making sure that you are clicking those boxes here that match those accordingly. And you'll see your full tax rate here showing in this box. Awesome. And if you ever do want to adjust that project mapping, we do have a link here in your edit project that shows your mapping for this project, as well as a link to go to that settings page at any time. Awesome. So that's a lot of the main setup that needs to happen. And once you've done that, you'll be ready to get going, pushing your estimates and invoices. So I thought it might be good to go through really quickly just a little bit about creating estimates and invoices in Alcove for those of you that haven't done it yet. We also have a few new settings and features that you can add. So I wanted to highlight those here as well. So when you're ready, you go to your Financials tab, and then you can click on Estimates. And one thing I will note here, this is a professional feature. So if you are on the procurement plan, in order to get to the QuickBooks integration and the financials, you'll need to upgrade to the professional plan. If you're on trial, we're just going to highlight here at the top what the professional features are, so you're aware of what will be included in that plan in the future. Awesome. So now once you're in your estimates, it's really easy to create a new estimate. You can just click this plus sign. You'll see it's going to generate an estimate number automatically. You can always edit this prefix to these estimates and invoices and orders. That can be done here in the project code. So just a nice little tip if you ever want to kind of edit that, but we'll generate that automatically based on the first letters from the name of the project. You'll see now we have this new QuickBooks sync here at the top, so we'll talk about that in a minute. But just to go over a couple of highlights here, we're going to pull in your client information into the to field here and your company information into the from field. You can edit those or change to a different client for the project at any point in time. And then down below, you're going to see adding service fees, adding products, and then a preview button. So in order to do any kind of sync to QuickBooks, you're going to need at least one product or service fee in your estimate or invoice. Very easy to add those. Just click Add Product, and you can choose from all of the products in your project. Just click Add, and you'll see these have been added here. Then when you want to add service fees, you can also click here and you can choose from your available service fees, or if you'd like, you can add a new service fee by clicking this button and it'll open up a little sidebar to do that. Awesome. So now that you have those in here, we have a lot of new settings that are really exciting here. You can now group by rooms. You can hide the amount per room. You can hide any of these columns here. And you'll see that it kind of grays it out. And when we show the preview, those columns won't show. So depending on what your business model is, how you want to show things to your customer, we give you lots of flexibility and options here. You can also toggle between the trade discount and the client savings. So depending on, as again, what your business model is, if you're passing that trade discount on to your customer, then you can show that here, or if you'd like to not show it, you can even hide the whole column. So if you'd like to save any of these settings for future use, you can also go to your default settings and save those there, so that then when you generate your next estimate or invoice, those are automatically going to be saved. Editing product, if you want to edit pricing or information, is really easy. Just click the plus or the pencil here, and clicking the trash can will remove that product or service fee from this estimate. So it's not deleting it in the system, just taking it off this estimate. A couple notes at the bottom here. You can add a signature page, you can add a note, and we did just add this new feature where you can include, as part of the estimate PDF, a tear sheet per product. So if you'd like to include a little more information and not just the smaller image with a little summary, you want to actually include all your images and all of your information for the clients, you can add that here. So once you do that, you can click preview. All of these things come over to this page. So if you do want to make any adjustments here, for instance, you want to add the quantity and unit back, you can do that here on this page, and you'll see as I scroll down, I now have these nice tear sheets here with more information about products as we have them in the system. So really easy to send this to your clients. You can copy a link, you can download a PDF, or if you have the Gmail integration live, you can attach directly to an email. And as you do these things, we are going to add a copy of that in the version history, so you can keep a copy for record for later of what you sent on what date. Awesome. So that's pretty much the estimates. Invoices are very similar. You can add your products and services. The biggest difference here is you have your payments here in the middle, which we'll show in a minute. Very easy to add your payments for the invoices. We have a due date. You can add in your terms as well that'll be displayed. Due on receipt, it's going to populate that due date for you. You have your statuses up here, which will change automatically as you add payments as well. And a lot of the same information here. You'll see here in the future, we're going to have pretty soon here the Stripe payment where you can include that. And you can also include that tear sheet per product. Biggest difference here is we're showing the amount paid and the balance remaining. Awesome. So when you are ready to send something over to QuickBooks, you'll see once you've added that product or service fee to the estimate or invoice, at the top here, this is going to highlight the check mark, kind of grayed out with this option to send. So really easy. When you're ready to send this over, just click the send button. It's going to send that invoice. It'll give you a confirmation. And you're also going to see here a version in your version history that's got it has the QuickBooks logo on it. So if I click on this, what you're going to see is a PDF. This is actually coming directly from QuickBooks. So this is the format in QuickBooks. It just gives you that copy so you know what you sent to QuickBooks on what date. If you do want to view that estimate or invoice directly in QuickBooks, you can click the view button, which will take you straight to that invoice in QuickBooks. So you'll see all of the information here, the due date, everything, as well as the shipping address, which is coming from your project address. So when I say project address, I mean in your project here. If you scroll down, there's a project address here on both here and on the overview page. Awesome. And so once you have that in, you'll see all of these products have come in. And so all of this information is going to go over to that product library in QuickBooks as well for future reference. You'll see that we've added here shipping. So we'll have non-taxable and taxable shipping. And we're also bringing over whether items are taxable from a product level. So when I say that, if I go into any of these products, into the financials, you'll see here the option to make something product taxable or shipping taxable. And so that will be what actually generates that information on your invoice or estimate in QuickBooks. You'll notice I made that change to that product, and here now it's telling me that it's time to update this document because now I've made some changes here. Let's say I remove a product or I add a service fee. Then, in most cases here, we're going to tell you to make an update so that you know that your information in QuickBooks is synced properly with what's in Alcove. Awesome. So now, if I do want to make that update, very easy, and you can do this at any point in time, even if we're not showing this update icon, it'll say update with a green check. you just click Update to QuickBooks. It's going to send an updated version over, and you'll see that we get that additional copy here in your version history. So just keeps the track of how things are progressing over time. So as I mentioned before, you can add payments to your invoices. So you really, this needs to happen in Alcove. So this is one of the things I think to remember. Let's say you get a check from the client. You can come in here and you can say, okay, they paid me, $1,000. This was the check number, and you click record. So now you're going to see we've updated this to partial payment. You can see what the balance is, and you see your payment here, and you see also that we've added this this update icon to say, hey, we have an update that needs to be made here. So if I click Update to QuickBooks, it's going to push that over. And now we have our version here, the PDF from QuickBooks. And you can see we have a payment here applied. Also, if I click to view this in QuickBooks, you're going to see one payment made, and you can go to that payment. It has your reference number, and this is that default deposit account. So that's where that's being recorded. So all of that is in here, and then that can be mapped to your actual payments that come in through your bank account on the QuickBooks side in the future. Awesome. All right, so those are kind of the major things with the updates to QuickBooks. If you guys have any questions, I'm more than happy to jump into those now, or even spend a little more time on estimates and invoices if you guys like. But those are kind of the major things. Just as a reminder, you can also make updates here. So you can see, even if it's a check mark, you can make your updates. Those can be made here on the summary pages, same for the estimates pages as well. And then you can go to your account at any point in time and manage in order to set up or change any of the income account information or your default deposit account. Awesome. Oh, we have a question from Izzy about adding PayPal. So right now we're just adding Stripe, but that is something that we can look at doing in the future, is adding payment links for PayPal as well. So we'll take a look at that and note the request. Awesome. Any other questions? No problem. No. Okay. Well, as I mentioned at the beginning, we really recommend at any point in time, if you'd like to spend a little more time with us, schedule that one-on-one call. Please grab a spot on our calendar. We'd be really excited to hop on the phone with you. We spend a lot of time with our customers talking about features, feedback, and new things. So that's how we really prioritize what we're going to build. This QuickBooks integration has been a highly requested item, so I'm really excited to be able to bring that to you guys today. And as I mentioned before, please sign up next week for our Stripe integration call that talks about how to add those payment links to your invoices and the benefits on that side. So that will be another exciting release that we are making very soon. And stay tuned as well for the purchase orders and bill generation for QuickBooks. So that will be coming fairly soon. We're also working on an updated vendor experience that's going to be very exciting, where you're going to have actual vendor pages where you can manage a lot of your vendor information, see all the products, all of your orders across your projects for each vendor, etc. So thank you guys that have contributed on feedback for those designs. That is in development now, and we're really excited to bring that to you as part of this whole update. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, everybody. Really appreciate your time today, coming to listen and give your feedback. And we look forward to talking with you all and working with you in the future. And I hope everyone has a great rest of your day. Great. Thank you.